Chapter 114, The First Conqueror. The metallic thud of Master Oji's dead body hitting the dust echoed through the absolute silence of the Arena of Peace. Smoke drifted lazily from the clean hole pierced through his forehead. Everyone watched in utter, paralyzed shock. Suru, the commentator, stood in his booth, his microphone hovering near his open mouth, completely unable to find his words. The crowd held their collective breath, and up in the royal box, the kings shifted nervously, their eyes darting around the stadium to find the source of the lethal strike. Suddenly, King Kai stood up, his voice cracking with surprise as he pointed up into the open air, above the arena. Wait, who is that there? High above the stadium floor, levitating effortlessly against the sky, stood a man. He wore pristine, gleaming white armor that caught the afternoon light. His short golden hair shifted slightly in the wind, and his cold blue eyes looked down with complete detachment. His right hand was still raised, his index finger pointed directly at Oji's lifeless corpse. "Techie! Laser blast!" the man muttered in a flat, monotone voice. He slowly lowered his hand, his finger smoking slightly. He let out a loud, heavy yawn, stretching his arms behind his head. Ah, man, I can't believe how boring it is here. A collective shiver ran through the crowd. The sheer pressure radiating from this lone figure was suffocating. People in the stands began to tremble, staring up in pure fear. Viratros stepped forward, his boots grinding into the dirt. His jaw was clenched, his fists shaking with rage, as he looked up at the intruder who had just destroyed his only link to Denka. "Who are you?" Viratros yelled, his voice echoing fiercely through the stadium. The man didn't even look insulted. Instead, he casually stuck his pinky finger into his ear, twisting, put it around to clean it out. "Well," he drawled, blowing a speck of dust off his finger, "I am supposed to be a conqueror." Or something like that. Up in the VIP box, King Kuro slammed his hands onto the railing, standing up in a total panic. What? Hearing the word conqueror, the crowd erupted into a wave of terrified murmurs. The nervous tension in the stadium was reaching a boiling point. The man in white armor continued, completely ignoring the brewing panic below him. "Ah, yes. By the way, I just killed that mechanical man for fun. It's not like I care what he wanted to say about Denka. But yes, maybe I cared. Who knows?" Down on the arena floor, Ryu rushed forward, his eyes locked onto the floating threat, trying to get a closer look at his face. The golden-haired man smirked, looking down at Ryu and Viratros. "I am Ishori, the first conqueror." Instantly, his lazy, bored expression morphed into something sinister. A little bit of pure, unadulterated evil twisted the corners of his mouth. Let's see. Ishori reached into a compartment of his white armor, rummaging around for a second before pulling out a small, brilliantly shiny green cube. It pulsed with a strange, otherworldly energy. I think this will be enough. Before he could activate it, a streak of blinding movement cut through the air. Lightning fast, a figure rushed toward Ishori with impossible speed. It was Fuma. With a fierce roar, Fuma threw a devastating punch, connecting squarely with Ishori's face. The impact sounded like a thunderclap. The force of the blow launched Ishori backward across the sky, crashing him violently into the thick stone wall of the arena, burying him in a cloud of debris and shattered rock. Realizing the extreme danger, Ryu turned toward the stadium and yelled at the top of his lungs, "Everyone needs to leave fast." Chaos erupted. The captains mobilized instantly, gathering their squads to manage the panic. High above the stadium, the massive airships began humming to life, their engines roaring as they prepared for an emergency evacuation. Suru grabbed his microphone, his frantic voice booming over the speakers. "We need to interrupt the tournament. Everyone needs to evacuate immediately." From the crater in the shattered stone wall, the dust began to clear. Ishori slowly came to himself. Shaking the debris from his golden hair, rubbing his jaw, he levitated out of the hole, looking completely unfazed. He pointed his finger toward the evacuating crowd. "Techie laser blast," he commanded. Nothing happened, not even a spark. Ishori blinked, staring at his hand in genuine confusion. Huh? What? Fuma didn't give him time to figure it out. Rushing through the air, Fuma launched a second attack, but this time, Ishori's blue eyes tracked the movement. With a cruel smirk, Ishori effortlessly evaded Fuma's strike, sliding to the side and delivering a brutal, crushing counterblow directly into Fuma's back. The impact cracked the air. Fuma gasped, his eyes rolling back as he fell instantly unconscious. Plummeting toward the arena floor, his legendary golden sword slipped from his grip, spinning through the air and landing somewhere in the dirt nearby. Ishori floated in place, looking down at his own hands, completely ignoring the fallen warrior. Why hasn't my blast worked? Determined to test his power again, he narrowed his eyes and pointed his finger directly at Veratros. Techie laser blast. This time, the energy answered. A massive, roaring beam of bright blue laser light erupted from his fingertip, tearing through the air with terrifying velocity. Veratros' instincts screamed. In a split second, he forced his energy to the surface instantly, activating his signature blue fire aura to shield himself. But the sheer power of the Conqueror's blast was overwhelming. The laser slammed into Veratros' shield, shattering his defense and sending him flying violently backward across the arena. Veratros hit the ground hard, rolling through the dust until his body went completely still, lying unconscious as his blue flames flickered and died out. Ishori lowered his hand, looking down at the two strongest warriors lying broken in the dirt. He let out a soft, disappointed sigh. How boring, mortals.